3, 2, 1, go. Happy Halloween, everybody! If you'll remember 2012, we tried to do Resident Evil 3, that ending on New Year's. Last year we were absent, so this year we're doing another list. PC Gamer's Top 100 Horror Games of All Time. It's just me, Glenn, and one this time. I'll be honest, Juan, for a minute I thought you were going to say Anthony's collecting unemployment, can't be here.
I was like, oh wait, connection, that was all I was saying.
So anyway, we're all going into this blind, so there might be some things on here you recognize, some things we don't know. And
I'm not very good at horror games, so I'm not going to go.
I was actually about to ask what's your experience with them. What have you all played?
I haven't played any, but I've seen play stuff.
Yeah, I've seen people play stuff.
I was scared from a few of them.
I played the Resident Evil series. I dabbled into Silent Hill. I recently picked up Slender the Arrival on my PS3, and got a little bit of it with it.
I might try to do the Arrival if it's free or something.
But anyway, with that said, let's talk about horror games. Been with us for decades. Alone is a haunted house to escape from in 1992, and a shitty movie in 2005.
Sorry.
Doom pit players against Nightmare's Hordes in 1993, and gave us a mediocre movie in 2005, which starred The Rock. And things have got stranger in the neighborhood since then. Only the likes of Slender and SCP Containment Breach have scared half the internet into a gibbering fugue state, whatever the fuck that is. And there are dozens of horror games being assembled in dungeon labs all over the world this very moment. We thought it was about time we celebrated horror, from tense survivalist nightmares to ultra-gib hellspawn massacres. Whether you prefer the loud guns and shocks of fear or the quiet dread of amnesia, plenty of horror classics here, but we you find something new and terrifying in this 90-strong collection, which includes some of the scariest, strangest games ever made. One of the Five Nights at Freddy's is going to be on here, though.
Well, I said we look forward to that. People want to buy the game.
Yeah, let's... Yep, let's go to page 2, which is free horror and mods.
Okay.
Hold on, not my duty.
Oh, my iPad, my thing.
How you do it? No, that's not how you do it. Darn it. How do I beat it?
Oh, no.
There. Oh, that's how you do it. Okay. Never mind.
Waiting on that.
I learned how to pitch.
Hey, guys.
Alright, you all are on page 2, right? Free horror games and mods?
Yeah, but, yep, go for it.
Right.
Darn it,
Alright, so when we get to the list, we'll just take turns talking about the different games that are on here. How's that sound?
Okay.
Okay. You want to play horror games? Put that cash wad away. No, really. Put it away. It's crawling with deadly spiders. I was expecting Dr. Smith. I have some good news. There are developers out there who like scaring complete strangers more than they like making money. This is a big one for us because we can submit ourselves to their will and be reduced to broken, burning meat puddles at no cost to ourselves. All we have to do is give up our time and sanity to the free games and mods and ride the resulting terrorgasm. See what they did there? Into sweaty oblivion.
Oh, I get it. That's actually pretty funny. Excuse me, sir. Can I get a copy of Jugs?
Alright, so number 1 is...
Star Trek 5? The final... Oh, okay, no, sorry. That's going to be the title of the game.
Oh, here we have DayZ. Link DayZ mod. Expect to pay free. Oh.
I can't pay free, but okay, I'll go online and check it out.
Is DayZ a horror game? Absolutely. It's also a military shooter, an MMO, and a survival sim wrapped into one. Are you afraid it will run screaming in your direction of little provocation? Or of your fellow humans, many of whom will shoot you back or a can of beans? Of course that you're scared of everything and everyone. Your only intent to acquire better equipment from alliances and grow more confident in your deal with the undead, all of which will get you killed and eternally vigilant. DayZ robs you of all but the most basic equipment, throwing you back into a random point on the beat you to make your way all over again. Can there be anything more terrifying than that? Yeah, if a certain somebody named you will get a hold of it. Usually it sounds like it would be like, from what I gather, it sounds like it'd be like the original Mario Bros. You get a game over, oh, well, back to the very beginning of the game, would you?
It might be a pain if you ever
If you want, it's SCP Breach.
Okay.
I still don't know what the frick that is. Even if I'm looking at a picture of like...
Link SCP site.
Oh, Dr. Claw.
Today, free.
Here we go.
Investigation is based on a film of the SCP event, a collection of crowdsourced creatures known for their disturbed imagery and varied powers that target a multitude of fears. You play as D9341, a test subject locked in the Foundation during the titular... titular...
It's titular, Dr. Claw. Titular.
It's funny. Your job to explore, decipher, and escape the facility, but you'll be facing a number of SCPs along the way. The most notable of these, SCP-173, acts like a more terrifying version of Doctor Who's Weeping Angels.
Who are freaking creepy.
He'll strike through a facility, stopping only when you've direct line of sight. If that doesn't sound too scary, understand that the game's features simply diminish that tells you when you'll be forced to blink.
Blink. Blink and you're dead.
That man doesn't fear. Blink up.
You sounded more like Dr. Claw.
I blinked and I saw Mama.
Glenn, looks like you got Slender.
Batman, what are you doing in my room? Oh shit.
Okay.
See you guys.
Slender, the 8-page link. Press that. Press that action site. Saying that thing with the 8 pages. $10, you right?
Well, look at that, $10. You said this is a free page.
The slim-suited menace known as Cyberman started life meme and has quickly grown into a horror series. His stick is simple but terrifying enough.
Pronounced stick.
You look directly at him, he devours you, but when you look away, he can position instantly. In an attempt to trick your ease, you have to take notes from a dark force that is looking to hunt you. The free download version of the 8 pages have inspired both of YouTube Let's Play videos. Because it's about, it's almost as fun to watch Slender's own physiological terror inflict on others as it is to enjoy it yourself. Immigrants Blue Isle Studios has set productions to create a celebrity version called Slender, The Arrival, which is available for $10 on Steam and has bonus Oculus Rift support VR terror.
I have a funny story about The Arrival. I was playing it yesterday for the time in the 8-page level, which I managed to beat it in my first try, by the way. I got up to the mines level, and as soon as I turn on the second generator, I get jumped by that thing. I'm like, you bitch. But anyway, I get the 6th page. I go to find the 7th one. Slender's right there. I turn around. He's right there. He has me bouncing back and forth with pinball. Yeah, I know. It's like, go this way, no, 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 go this way. Okay, I'm going to figure out. I'm going to go this way, and bye.
Surprise, motherfucker.
No, I'm not, and no, I am not like whoever it was from Two Best Friends Play when he did Slender the 8 pages. The one was like, yeah, you don't want to actually go up and try to fight the thing. So he hands it over to the other guy, and he's like, charge, and dies. It's like, you idiot. Anyway, moving on. I think it's supposed to announce, I'm scared, but it was like, Link, Game Jolt, expect to pay? Okay, you know what, we're not going to say it anymore, because this is the free... Wait a minute, this picture, it looks like something from the old DOS days. I swear Alone in the Dark 1 had the graphics. I don't know. Not enough games break the barrier between a game and its audience, and the wonderful I'm Scared does this rather insidiously, ingeniously, by lightly mucking with your PC. Oh, it's a lo-fi series of first-person scenes, interspersed with forced game shutdowns, and the very sudden appearance of selling text files in the game's folder. Every time you start the game, for the first few times at least, you're different, taking something new, and even as you play, become acutely aware that you'll be greeted by another surprise, a message or even an image, the next time you exit back to the desktop. With most games, escape is a simple matter of quitting the game. I'm Scared makes you believe, albeit for just a second, that the horror could follow you and give you a remarkable achievement. Wow, that sounds interesting.
You know, I've seen a few people that actually do mess with the PC, like Mario, Sonic, EXE, I'm trying to remember other shit, so like a few others do actually do that. Like a few others, some actually does that style. If this is the first one, then yes, this is a remarkable
Yeah. And now we go down to the next one, and I'm looking at these things, and it looks like a reject from Attack on Titan.
It looks like before I had that huge mess.
So you lost all your skin.
Yeah.
Whatever it looks like to me,
that was a... Hey, I grew my skin back.
Okay, if you want to tackle this one, since you have the most experience with having your skin torn off.
Yeah, I'll start it. To let you know, I had to use grass seed to grow back my skin, but other than that, now I'm good. Okay, Mother's Inferno. Just the title alone, it sounds like your mom got pissed at you and got you this just to see what happened.
Either that or Dante's Inferno, only instead of Dante, it's his mother.
Oh.
I don't know.
Alright, A Mother's Inferno. Expect to pay? Free. Of course! Everything's free in this. Oh, no, wait, not everything, sorry. Okay.
Gamble.
A short student horror project created in 6 weeks. Mother's Inferno puts you in love. A mother struggling to run on board a train of otherworldly demons. Damn. Almost as harrowing? Harrowing? As the 8:30 from Bristol to London, Paddington. Yeah, I'm thinking right. Motherhood isn't easy at the best of times, but I'm pretty sure I missed the episode of Call the Midwife, where it's from Miranda fought a section of demons armed only with a single shard of glass. Your demonic opponent's dark novel horror game represent 5 states of loss, depression, and acceptance.
Okay.
So this is a game that might buy for a child to say, you have me, because I would just buy stuff, but I did it for you, sort of.
I would do anything for love, but I won't do that.
I would do anything for Bull, but I will not.
Okay, moving on. Glenn has Anchorhead.
should I read the
No, I think that's just a page, so I think you can leave that alone, because it looks like they're just tore a page out of post or something.
Anchorhead. Anchorhead, whatever.
That's Lovecraft, okay.
Joy. Horror game. Games owe significant to Howard Phillips. Not just because he's long dead, his work is out from copyright. Plenty of games have included references to his unique brand of cosmic horror. But Anchorhead is more inspired than most, drawn from several of his novels stories to tell the tale of married couple who have inherited an old house. Such segments eventually give way to tense, turn-flipping puzzles as you struggle to stop an ancient, possibly world-age ritual from being completed.
Oh, yeah, sure. Treasure, you're just trying to save the world from... Did somebody just fart into their microphone? That's what it sounded like. Whatever. No more room in hell. Link theme page. Expect to pay him off for Half-Life 2. What the fuck am I looking at?
He's smiling back there, and he has looks like a zombie.
Ah, dude, I'm about to get my head chopped off. I'm surprised they haven't remade that movie.
No more room in hell.
No More Room in Hell is a co-op zombie shooter with our shades of Left 4 Dead. Who wrote this shit? But there's more than enough here to distinguish it from Valve's Undead Romp. It's not just that it's a player philosophy for a more brutal zombie apocalypse. Ammo is scarce, logistics matter, and while some are still an effective zombie to a single bite become infected. Of course, if you do get bitten, it's up to you whether or not you let your teammates know about the impending zombification. Which brings up a good question. Why is it that in, let's just say, The Walking Dead, somebody gets bit, they don't bother to tell anybody? You do realize, of course, you don't tell anybody, you're going to turn and possibly tear their throat out.
Yeah, I mean, if anything, they could probably help you with them.
Of course, there really is no... Oh, hey, guys, oh, wait, actually, there is help. At the beginning of Season 3 of The Walking Dead, yeah, it was Season 3, the one guy got bit on the ankle, so what did they do? They chopped off his leg. It helped until the end of Season 4, where he got his head chopped off with a sword.
Yeah.
Anyway. Or a cry fear.
A cry for fear. Cry of fear, sorry. Link cry fear site. Expect to pay free mod for Half-Life 1. Okay.
What's Half-Life 1?
I know.
Cry Fear started as a Half-Life mod before being spun out into a lone game earlier this year. Despite the first-person perspective, the psychological survival horror has more in common with Silent Hill, as set in a creepily abandoned city, and it features a limited choices inventory system. Waking up after a car incident with a phone, a switchblade, and a hoodie named standard of today's urban ruffian to go on the go. Okay, so just because I wear a hoodie, now I'm a ruffian. Awesome. You have to... Oh, no, Anthony's too. Let's tell Anthony once he gets back. We're both ruffians, apparently. Okay, you got the many odd ends surrounding you. Receiving the occasional text message from your worried mom. Okay, that's not good enough as mom.
I can see that now. Where are you? I sent you out to get the milk like 10,000 years ago.
Mom, I was out fighting zombies. What do you think happened? Did you get the milk? Damn it, I'm going back, Mom. God.
You really want me to go back there? Well, look, I just barely make it out with all 10 fingers and toes. Go get the milk. You know it's probably expired by now. Get the milk.
You know, bring it back. You know that? I don't want to go out. I'm going to cow.
You're gonna... Oh, you know what? Fine. Here, let me snap my fingers. Let me channel the spirit of Q next generation. I'll snap my fingers and a milk will pop up. There, milk. What the fuck? Okay, hold on. I'm looking at the picture for the haunted. It looks like Ryu from Street Fighter beating a zombie.
Well, let's start.
Glenn.
The Hunt Link Mod TV page. Expecting mod for Unreal Tournament 3. The Haunted towards Unreal Tournament 3, third-person wave-based multiplayer shooter featuring all the mutant zombies, exploding heads, and rough kicks you could ever want. Hadouken! Alright, huge here means lots and lots of gore. Or, of course, but if you're never after that, but if you're after some round Gearsy arcade where you don't have to shell out for traditionally the Haunted has your chainsaw wielding survival themed covered, an expanded standalone version noted with later released as gated download.
I already own a 360 and I already have, so didn't really shell out much.
Don't you imagine this is probably what the aftermath of a very powerful Hadouken would probably look like?
Yeah.
Hadouken!
No! Everywhere!
Well, that wasn't supposed to happen. Now, haven't you heard? It destroys the whole goddamn universe. Yeah, now I'm hearing Captain Falcon say that. Ormaion! Oh, wait, no, Captain Falcon is not bearded idiot. Underhill, Chapter 1. Link, ModDB page. Expect to pay? Free mod for Half-Life 2. Whatever that was all about. Okay, maybe I have to go practice his Dr. Claw voice again. Part game, part tactical shooter, part zombie. Underhill packed a lot into its prologue and first chapter, switching genres at will and effortlessly introducing new ideas. Play as Jay Cockfield, a troubled SWAT who is struggling to come to terms with the death of his wife. That recovery is in the fact that his wife is still around as he becomes a apprentice to explore his now haunted house. But from Gone Home with a Ghost, Underhill takes a tonal shift when Hockfield returns to his day job. Suddenly you're giving working sectors and securing rooms as terrorists out of a hospital. Naturally, this description doesn't last as Hockfield continues to slip further reality.
Alright, I'm back, guys.
Cool, you just finished Underhill.
Alright.
Chapter 1 to be precise.
True.
It might be more.
Possible. What the hell is this picture for Hyde?
Picture of the moon!
It's a
Highness.
looks like some weird blue not Rick Boff.
Well, let's read it and find out. Let's see. SFC forms. Expect to pay? Free download. Okay? The Locky Lo-Fi... How's it?
Lo-Fi.
Yeah. Lo-Fi visuals are designed to see who made these words, the finer detail of your comments, and reduce them to a series of creepy, ambiguous silhouettes. You are being pursued by a hideous unknown thing as you explore at an agonizing pace down deadly ghostly orbs as you pick through each environment. You'll want to download this one for the sound design alone. How it uses noise to great effect, creating an ominous, persistent mess that's more unsettling than enduring than the lazy jump scare favored by so many horror games.
I have to ask, are you channeling your inner Jeff?
Yeah, sometimes when I read like off the spot, I kind of get like Jeff Goldblum. Now you'll want to download this one for sound design alone using noise effects, grace, ominous effects.
Okay.
Yeah, so guys, like when I read, I'm just gonna say it out loud. When I read off the spot, yeah, that happens. So yeah, I'll be reading like this. Alright, so next game, Silhouette.
Link in free indie games. Expect to pay for a web game. Okay.
Whee!
It's free. The number of free horror games Silhouette doesn't rely on high-tech visuals to defeat scares. The two-player killer versus victim in a dark house. Control shifts between the knife-wielding killer and their unarmed victim, allowing for turns of real-time movement as the killer and the victim draw closer together. The increasing front pacing does a great job of inspiring mounting panic input, toying with the manipulative patterns seen across horror cinema. From the Jaws soundtrack to the murder scenes of Psycho, and detective horror experiment that's worth a go if you can get a couple of horror fans around your keyboard.
Why am I making Norman Bates instead of the Psycho strings when he pulls the shower curtain over the sound of the woman? You hear dun 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 dun.
He pulls the shower curtain, and then he goes, "What? Damn, girl! I mean, nothing."
The hell is that?
No, I'm saying like in that scene in Psycho, like guy pulls the shower curtain, and he sees the woman, like, and he takes, like, this woman turns around. I'm picturing him going, "What? Damn, girl! I mean, no."
Alright.
Okay, next one.
Black Snow. Link, Destra page. Expect to pay free month for Half-Life Episode 2. Where's Episode 3? Oh, I don't care, whatever. I think Resident Evil might want to look at this first sentence. Corporations really keep a better eye on their isolated researchers. They hold a top 5 position of the list of places horrible horror will happen. So proves in Black Snow, Half-Life 2 Episode 2 send the Amaluk Research Station, which you must explore as a member of an investigative team after the bunker ceases all communication. It's exploratory horror in the vein of A Machine for Pigs, but in a very near future setting that creates you may not have but a near future setting that creates you may not have seen rendered before in Valve's source engine. Yeah, no, it made me go. Oh, I like the link for the next one.
Link wet.
Oh my.
Perfectly timed. I'm going to say that.
A Cyber Queen could get wet.
Wait a minute, wait. Hold on. Look at this. Look at this screenshot. Is this a text adventure?
First me this like little thing. Light years of drinking my strength, drinking my body, drinking my milk, bad baby. Fail scream, I don't know. Caught in nutrient slime, yolk from dyed machine egg. What the fuck is this?
That's a good screenshot. Not, because I cannot be
Let's find out.
Yep.
Well, okay, apparently it is inspired by Shock.
Okay, let's see. Some comments you out of a sack into, see, alright. Again, wait, what?
Malignant.
Fuck that word. Sentient ship gives you your first choice. Fail, scream, or breathe. There are heavy lashings of system shock in this super fine work of fiction that has you wandering the vessel, trying to escape the machinations of its omnipotent guardian. Yeah. The twine interface paces the text to good effect and is more easily navigated than traditional IF builds like Anchorhead. Cyberpunk is
Evocative.
Evocative. Another piece of work that'll appeal to those who have been tried interactive fiction before. Who have tried interactive fiction before. Damn reading.
How do I read?
And you know what's funny is because, like, once you address it, I literally will just start laughing at it now when I do it. I'll just be like, no, I'm doing it now. Oh my god.
Hey guys, I'm watching you. I see you.
Next game. I see you, and what the fuck?
Da 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 da. He's crying bloody tears.
Okay, what game do you expect to pay? Free!
Everything's paid is free.
Of
Oh,
course.
it's for the rival, which was $10, but yeah.
True.
I see you adopt a similar low-fi visual approach to a scared word exploration game set in an abandoned hospital. You can only see a few meters in your face, but you must move from searching for keys to unlock door areas of the hospital. To unlock doors, the hospital invites a fragment, and moving away from the easily spotted early layouts and new designs that don't. The tutorial messages that get you through the first viewer as the monster and the victim, tasked running the monster's outlet that rearranges reality in increasingly broken shape.
That sounds fun. That's it for page. That's it for free horror games. Let's see what's on the next page. Survival horror.
I hereby send you all to a PP break. We will be back next.
Da, 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 da. Okay.
Alright. Survival horror.
Who's gonna read that?
I'll read it. Oh, wait, what are you gonna read it?
I might as well start and then we'll go from you to get go backwards.
Okay.
Survival horror. Good survival horror games are all about vulnerability. You are the only blimp in a world that wants you dead. Resources are in you down your last few bullets. You're limping and desperate. What do you do? Run? Cover? Check Twitter?
Hold on. I'm dying. I have to update my Twitter. Hashtag dying. Hashtag scared. LOL. Hashtag fuck me.
Actually, I like that one.
I can actually see if I'm doing that.
He's like, oh shit, man, I'm gonna die. But first, let me do this Twitter.
At least, wait, please don't. Grant me that last request.
Just quickly have my phone.
And it's like, no, he has like those zombies right there, and he's like, wait, stop. Gotta get eat by zombies. Hashtag YOLO. Hashtag happy to die now because I had some problems. But hashtag in the end it's all good. Bye!
Okay, moving on.
Alright, moving on. Forming classics like the Resident Evil flashback games presented a template for survival horror with their fixed camera perspective. In survival horror tools have attempted to mix things up a bit. First-person exploration-driven games like the Ninja series put you in the skull of the unfortunate player character and swaddle you in an uncomfortable environment. Other games like Dead Witch and Dead or Ditch have some randomization to create a permanent sense of the expected and look to the prima death mechanics of roguelikes to raise the sense of every action and make you feel even more squishy.
What people don't know, it might even be on this list, is that Alone in the Dark 1 actually created the survival horror genre, but Resident perfected it in coin term.
Alright. So, should I continue?
Yes, we're going backwards. It's your turn.
Okay. So...
Oh, by the way, if you see what looks like,
Redemption.
hold on.
Red Dead
Hold on.
Redemption be on this list.
What should?
Red Dead Redemption, Undead Nightmare, that better be on.
Yeah, technically counts as a Western, but
Are you
But-
freaking kidding me? This game will never leave me.
well, let me just say this right now, guys. For the pricing, you see what looks like a cross between a lowercase capital L? That's pounds.
Oh wow, there's a lot of games I'm looking at here that I should have played.
And in case you people haven't figured this out, if you're reading along, this list was made in Britain.
Okay, you'll be starting out to few rounds of this day because there's 9 people.
This was made in Britain. So,
We're at that state.
State. $25. As the stock crumbles, you got the best. The top-down RPG Dead State isn't the best with weapon, but your handiness with a clipboard. Based as it is on organizing allies, scouting supplies, and holding down a base. It's a thinking survival horror wrapped in a marine leadership politics. Remember, all your followers are looking to you. In this bleak zombie apocalypse, there are several systems to wrap your delicious brain around. Sheltering, morale management, inventory sorting, and sex harassment suits. I am
the last one.
Oh, and there's a reactive story that changes depending on who you chat to. The Dead State is still in early access. You can play at part in shaping it.
I'm going for with that voice.
It's my on-again, off-again British accent, sir.
I'm gonna try to, of course, maybe do or not. I'm not even if I try.
Alright. Next up is, Sir, you're being hunted. Link, big robot. Expect to pay £15 or $20 for early access. Demented Cyclops robots. We are X-Men rejects. When robots inevitably rise up to conquer the Earth, we can only hope that our overlord will adopt the habits of tweed-wearing, pipe-smoking men of the countryside. These well-mannered but murderers will be the bane of your existence, sir. You're being hunted. An open-world horror set in procedurally generated visions of the British outdoors, complete with bleak, randomized towns, skeletal electricity pylons, and lakes full of Hydra. Hail Hydra!
Hydra!
You'll mostly be cowering in bushes, trying to avoid the laser... powered gaze of your robot pursuers, looting houses for the supplies to stay alive and make it off the island. Sir is currently available for early entry access. Sir, you're being hunted is out now. Read or link, not going to do that. We have wasted I'm... What the fuck? It's a zombie lumberjack.
He looks like he's gonna crap on himself.
I'm going to
No. Just watched this movie last night, A Million Ways to West. There's a scene where a guy really has to take a shit, so he grabs another guy's hat and shits in it. That's what he's probably going to do. Give me your hat. While you guys are doing that, I'll be right back.
Okay.
like that upon your check.
Okay. Yeah! 7 days to die! This open world combat is possibly ambitious. So if you purchase it through Steam's early access program, do expect the occasional bug. Look past them through, though, and you'll find a game brimming with depth. Wherever it's hunting infected wildlife, customizing characters, driving vehicles, gathering raw materials, fucking my wife, crafting weapons and traps, saucers and pieces, or jumping up with other survivors for co-op. The header is a Vauxhall, assuming I'm saying that right, sir, world where you can actually pick up the God named seem to be possessing 7 days to die. The Minecraft of zombie games. Again, it's impossibly ambitious, but they seem well on their way.
The Minecraft of zombie games, wow.
And while I was doing that, I was doing my worst Western accent ever.
Of course, I've seen the four. The four website. Expect to pay TBA. I have no idea what that means.
To be announced.
But I've seen people play this. Oh wait, no.
True though.
Free turkey.
Yeah.
Oh my.
Where are we?
We're at the
fourth.
Oh, okay.
We're at the fourth.
Okay, and you're wondering about the free turkey.
zombie is looking up a skirt.
This is not the upstart shot I expected in death.
Worst is that when staggering gorgeous survival sim and a staggeringly creepy horror game during crafting, exploration, night cycle, and course moments where when you batter violent semi-naked mutants to death in a wooden area, you're playing Crash Survivor, lofting it up on a mysterious island
aforementioned.
That's mutants, humanoid creatures who love shadows of the game's beautiful rendered forest and don't appear to be too fond of its new guest. But the forest is now in alpha. Read to our view here.
So basically what they did is they took Minecraft and made a survival horror but with better graphics.
Hey, but wait, before we read the next one, take a look down.
I see you.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out what the hell.
This game has been in there for a while, but still, it's alright, what's in it? Alright.
Nether. Link, Phosphor Games. Expect to pay £11 or $15. What the fuck are you?
We're still wrapping this up.
I'm going to call that an abomination.
I'm just going to call it a thing.
A thing.
That's thing 1, Slenderman is thing 2. And next is the Cat in the Hat. If you say Mike Myers, as you're doing
Oh
it.
wow.
Form tribes and fight for survival in this fast-paced role for territorial land grab. Gaining ground is a must in order to secure better vantage points and defensive fortifications, especially with murderous bands of equally bloodthirsty human players on the hunt, but it's just people you have to watch for in this rugged world. Amongst lonely roads and high-rise ruins are teleporting creatures called Nether. They're not very nice. The picture, oh, you think? As Phosphor themselves put it, it's prey or prey, offering the same kind of social experimentation as DayZ, but giving enemy NPCs greater presence, because let's be honest, the DayZ zombies might as well not be there. Craft food, weapons, supplies, and travel alone at your own peril.
Die or die.
Yeah, prey or prey. You see what they did there? Huh? Huh? No.
Alright,
I've seen this. But then,
no, namaste.
okay, go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead, Mark.
It's so toony.
Where are we going? Alright, we'll just go for next. Don't starve. Link. Kelly Entertainment. Expect to pay $17 in EOS or £10. Don't starve. It says a much title has instruction. Casting players into the perilous biting. Alright, wilderness with nothing more than a reclothed hairstyle and the clothes on their back. Research, farm, and fight, and you must just last the night, and you might just last the night. Maybe even with a full beard to show for it until you get nobly chomped by a tall bird, and have to start the ordeal from scratch in the ether's hand-holding in this dead survival.
Yeah, this kid's gonna grow a beard over the course of one night.
Well, you do grow beards, but not the course of night.
Actually, my dad could. He could shave in the morning, and by the end of the day, he'd have a full beard again. It's like, what the hell, man?
I can't get rid of it. Guess what's next?
Should we wait for one or just go ahead?
I didn't expect you to be this calm. I expected you would do what you did, just come after me.
Well, we're going to continue. We don't know how long he'll be gone.
Alright, Resident Evil 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah, Resident Evil 1, 2, and 3. Link, Resident Evil site. Expect to pay around £13 or $21. Might be hard all after the 5th and 6th games quite early, all over our fond memories, but Resident Evil used to be one of the best horror series around. Taking along the dark fixed perspective horror and adding zombies and Jill stares at his magnificent beard. Resident Evil 1 was a terrifying revelation when first dog like the world windows back in 1996. Capcom's fully classic wrote the rulebook for survival horror for the next decade or so, with its limited reuse pushing stuff around puzzles and tension-building awkward controls. That bit was also pretty neat. For the second game, the series of survival horror set in a city. Sequel challenged George A. Ron Carpenter to present a compelling urban horror featuring the best cast of character series has seen in 4 and 6. Floppy hair top Leon S. Kennedy and crossbow-wielding Bliker like Claire Redfield team up to discover why zombies are munching on the flesh of Raccoon City citizens and to escape in the most explosive way possible if they get the chance. Complementing Resident Evil's 2 character structure were 2 new B scenarios, meaning there were now 4 slightly different scenarios to play through. By the third game, the formula was starting to wear a little thin, but the addition of a giant zombie ogre that hunted you throughout the game was novel. The series is a major reboot with the fourth installment, so major fact that we've added as a separate entity in the section. Foreshadowing. Oh, I love what they say they expect to pay for Silent Hill 2.
Expect to pay a lot. Silent Hill 2 Link movie games expect to pay a lot. Probably in the 20s or 50s. I'm going to think. Oh, here, it's gone now. I love that picture, I really did. The hole is here. It's gone.
I have a piece of wood with nails in it. Do not make me smack you.
I think Silent Hill 2 is the best in the series, and Konami have never made much of an effort with the PC version. If you factor in mods and resolution tweaks, this is probably the play of these days. Even if the prices are for the extremely rare retail copies can be pretty extraordinary. Extraordinary. It was the first game to really push the narratives as a fluid and untrustworthy things, with a story that invites interpretation and a semi-sentient city that works and shifts itself to fit the damaged psychics of its inhabitants. The confusing code nonsense of the first entry was pushed to the back for the more personal story of the physiologically damaged battling his way through foggy Vittori puppet by zombie things, dog things, and whatever the hell Pyramid Head was.
He was the guy with that pyramid on his head. He thought he could carry around Cloud's sword from Final Fantasy VII and found out, yeah, it's not that easy.
I've never been that easy.
Silent Hill 4, The Room. Link, Silent Hill 4 site. Expect to pay around £10 or $15. The Room is a flawed game. The Room is a flawed game and an incredibly flawed movie. Starlife is a project no affiliation to the Silent Hill series, which is why it's deserving of a separate entry here. That was before somebody decided to meld it to their existing mythology, an action series that had mixed success. The interesting parts of the game are the Silent Hill sections where you wander a series of creepy locations, battering creatures in the head with a lead pipe, but it's still satisfying. Some new ideas to these areas, notably ghosts that can't be killed and must instead be skewered and placed with rare mystical swords, but the bitty, only loosely connected locations fail to engage in the same way the previous entries had. Where The Room, the game, not the movie, shine was in, well, room. Claustrophobic paranoia fuel version hub that channeled Hitchcock's Rear Window, adding creepy holes in the light too. It becomes clear that the central character of the story isn't the vibrant inhabitant, you at all, but rather the ascension and angry haunted house homicide that rejects your presence more and more as the game goes on.
Who are you gonna call?
Someone else. What? Who did I look for Eldritch?
Yes, I don't know what to make of this. Thunder's parent? For people who can't see this, imagine there's one boy with this, you can see the eye sockets in the mouth open.
Just imagine Slender Man with Jack Skellington's face.
Yeah, that would be good.
And no legs.
Yeah. Eldritch. Link Eldritch site. Expect to pay £10 and $15. Lovecraft is right now. I didn't know. Then, what isn't dressed coastless?
No one knows how to really pronounce that word, so I don't blame you.
The old one, Lord of all, he survived. Therese, bringer of the eternal night in. Still, you've been forgotten for wondering just how scary a low-tech Minecraftian under the nether or be, and indeed, as you sprint through the randomized Eldritch's first world, fear just isn't on the cards. Mild discomfort, perhaps, or bruisement, as you sidestep along slowly.
Cthulhu! Someone in the background agrees. Teleglitch. Link, teleglitch site. Expect to pay £9, $15. What the fuck? Pew 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 pew. Anyone considering setting up a research base and exploring the scientific methods of necrotic tissue animation should play Teleglitch, a caution tale for mad scientists everywhere. This top-down roguelike shooter casts you as a lone survivor in a military research base overrun with deadly reanimated creatures. You start almost nothing in the way of weapons. There's a slick crafting system and once you turn general living detritus into improvised blunderbusses and bombs. This is my boost stick. It's tough though. Guns and ammo are damn it. And the creatures swarm with increasing purpose, growing in size as you move from floor to floor. The visual style looks simplistic in still shots, but it's spherical motion. Thanks to the way it draws your sightline in real time. It's all too easy to miss a critter if you're not too careful. I don't know, I threw it out the window long ago. Next up we have the spiritual predecessor to Bioshock.
It does look like that. Number 2. Link to GOG. Expect to pay $10 in dollars? £7. Before Bioshock was Bioshock, it was a shock, an altogether freaking vibe RPG and FPS. And that in the second and best iteration told the story of the rogue AI on a haunted spaceship. That rogue AI is the incomparable uppercase Shonen. The murder artificial conscience leads the way for Wados, of course, but if it Wados pulls him.
Yep.
Boss. but it's the combination of weak character advancement, reward exploration, horrifying enemies, and at that time the novel use of audio diaries that made System Shock 2 such a memorable horror game. It was essentially Deus Ex on a spaceship. If you ever played Deus Ex or in a spaceship, you can imagine how simple that sounds.
I've never played X and I've never been on a spaceship.
I haven't either. So, there's that.
Yep. So next up is probably the game that PewDiePie plays the most mods of, or at least as far as I know, if it's not Slender one. Amnesia, the Dark Descent. Link, Dark Descent site. You have to pay £13 or $20. Oh hey look, there's a lot of piggies. Where's Stefano? Stefano! The Dark Descent cast you as Daniel, an amnesiac who's up in a mostly deserted castle that must be explored in search of escape. On all of their experience creating atmospheric, exploratory horror in the Penumbra series on Frickin' drawn all their experience in atmospheric exploratory horror in the Penumbra series and fill Amnesia's fortress with an oppressive and lingering sense of foreboding. Expect distant echoing noises, strange rumbles behind the walls, and to start seeing warm dark figures in the ambiguous candlelight. The Monster 2 stalk corridors. The perennial rule of horror creatures that they're less scary once you understood them certainly applies here, but then it's still a must-play staple for the genre. Oh, and up next is its sequel.
Expect to pay £13 and $20. The follow-up to Fiction of God War was developed by Esther creators, the Chinese Room. As such, it's a different beast to the Dark Descent, presenting a new standalone tale while staying true to the series' core themes of madness and obsession. In it, play as Oswald Mandis, a brought and sickly industrialist tormented by ghostly voices and visions of a hellish machine. Unlike the original, this sequel scares come from abilities as you avoid the enemies and uncover the decay and corruption of your home. A machine for pigs explores a wider array of emotions beyond pure fright, and in its quest to tell a more grounded story, while that means much, the original Amnesia system had been stripped, the atmospheric intensity is just as strong and claustrophobic. So anyone with phobia, don't try it.
Yeah, don't. Or anybody who has a very weak bladder and is easily scared of, well, everything.
Scared of it merely, don't play this.
Scared of what? A leaf?
Yeah, isn't that what overfear means? Don't get wrong. Go ahead, someone. In the comments. When this gets ever uploaded.
Juan's back.
Are you back, Juan? Batman, are you still with us? No.
We'll be moving on then. Oh, hi. You came back to time for Penumbra.
Wait, what?
Came back just in time for Penumbra, Overture, Black Plague, and Requiem. I'll just want you to get the next one, Juan. How's that sound?
Alright, which one is that?
Penumbra, Overture, Black, Requiem. And I have an echo. Overture, Black Plague, and Requiem. Expect to pay £7 free demo available at the link above. Oh look, Paging got percent on one of your spiders. I shall have a legion of spiders for global domination.
World domination.
I want to lead in with a spider.
How did you get in here? Fictional games can emerge fully formed into this world via some sort of dimensional portal, is what the terrific amnesia might lead you to believe. For that horror masterpiece, the team cut their teeth into the Penumbra series, a trilogy of adventure horror puzzle games. Here, Fictional pioneered a physical, grab-everything approach to their chosen blend of genres, and it worked so well that the series' letting frustrating stealth elements don't begin to grate until a few hours in. By a third entry, Requiem, the series had evolved into Portal-style puzzler, eschewing enemies entirely for their environmental hazards and physics puzzles, while normally retaining the horror theme. Despite a few issues, the Penumbra games are still well worth exploring if you're curious about Amnesia's origins.
Well, seeing as Dr. Smith's spiders are part of the game, it sounds interesting.
Go back, crappy movie. And get me over his pride back.
Next one, State of Decay. This one I actually know a few things about. Well, sort of. Like, my friend plays it a lot. Expect to pay $20. Alright.
This looks really interesting.
Zombies aren't known for being, like... Excuse me. Wait. But in games of stagnation, it slows them a bit too closely. State of Decay aims to fix it by putting the focus back on survival, not slaughter. Your job is to explore its open world, gathering resources, rescuing survivors, and fortifying your safe house. As time passes, zombie threat intensifies, and objectives arise based on your past actions. It's a bit shonky. What? Shonky?
Yeah, basically, yeah, like the Scouter in that one episode of Dragon Ball Z Abridged.
Oh man, those Englishmen who wrote this. But overcome the
And they know English like us.
the game's eccentricities, yeah, something like that, and you'll be treated to attempt ambitious and dynamic as the undead close in your preparedness. Well, that's all I know actually about the game. Like, literally, my friend only tells me that he plays it.
Hey, what is this game? Oh, I play it. What's it about? Zombies.
Sharing stories or background.
What's the next game about? Oh, it's about that movie, you know, the alien in Antarctica. The one that takes over people and you don't know it says, "Hi, I'm not your friend."
Okay, the next one. The Thing. Oh, finally, a fantastic 4-bit... Oh, wait, no.
Link to your artworks page. Expect to pay around $5,008. John, very chilly classic earned itself a tie-in game some 13 years after its release, and it's one surprisingly faithful to the film.
have a plan. Let's throw all the monsters outside, we'll quickly run back inside, lock the door, and they'll become monstersicles.
Wait a minute. Yeah, come in.
I don't know why people didn't think to do that with the alien in the movie. That we're in Antarctica, right? Yeah. It's fucking cold out there, right? Yeah. Let's lure it outside. When it's outside, we'll quickly rush back in, or lock it, and we'll leave the thing out there to, freeze. It'll become an alien sickle. I don't think that's going to happen.
Would that just burst the door?
Cryostasis, the sleep reason. Oh, Ray, we get to see this one.
I was frozen today.
Oh, wait, what did you say, Juan?
Oh, no, I said that we sleep, so I'm a dream about Counselor Troy from Star Trek.
You're going about Marina Sirtis.
Precisely.
Okay, I'm familiar with her as a vengeful, evil gargoyle, so I'm just imagining you having a wet dream about a reptile monster thing.
Oh, she was... Oh, yeah, I forgot she was in that, too.
She was the most... Cryostasis, sleep of reason, lake motion, expect to pay around £6 or $9. Dude, I have a... Do not make me punch you. I have a bit as longer... Ow. In most games, the presence of ice boils down temporarily slippery movements or the necessity of a flamethrower to uncover frozen collectibles. Few games manage to recreate suffocating coldness that comes with being somewhere not very warm. I didn't know not very warm was an actual place. Cryostasis is one of those games. You might remember as Choco on Ice, its main character Alexander Nesterov battling to transform a murderous crew of frozen ships after some mysteriously tragic event takes place. It's also survival horror, where both survival and the horror relate more to the environmental hazards than the undead monster group, although admittedly they aren't the most welcoming bunch either. Living is a matter of managing your rapidly depleting body heat, scavenging heat sources, possess stoves, and sucking them dry some sort of temperature vampire. I want to suck your heat. Cryostasis is more than a bit clunky and badly optimized, but it's also one of the more novel and ambitious games on the list. Dude, somebody get this old guy a sandwich.
Hopefully you're gonna say that to me if you lose the melody.
Oh, have you know that this book was for the young ladies of 1955? Now, if you look scared, you got my liver.
Wait, dude, are you sure it's 1955 or 1955 BC?
Oh, damn it.
Didn't think about that one. Who has this one?
Outlast. Outlast. Red Barrel's games. Damn, I said game. Alright. Expect to pay £15 or $20. Like horror, Outlast opens with someone doing something spectacularly stupid. Journalist Miles Upshur chasing leads from an unknown informant. Wow, an unknown informant. Are you shitting me? You're seriously going to take information from an unknown informant?
I don't know who you are, but I am going to trust what you say.
I trust
You
you.
know that Lois is truly in trouble and you need to go save her. Wait, is that Kermit the Frog? You don't know me! Whoops!
I was over here, huh?
Okay? Question? I'm sorry,
Race to Mount Massive Asylum alone at night and with the woeful knowledge of horror cliches from TV spewing static as you swing through its stages to the pesky threat of impromptu lobotomy. Outlast is altogether traditional, but it doesn't feel stale. Developer Red Barrel's boasts serious pedigree and the need to be unrelenting, to shunt the player from scare to monstrous scare, lest they adapt to the threat. You can tell that this is an English typing because they use the word lest.
English.
Yep.
You mean
Not
British.
actually done ideas for the final act, falling back on fetch quests in which 3 of each item needed to progress have been strangely missing. Poltergeist probably.
It's always Poltergeist.
For the most part. Outlast is heart-stopping sprint, which showcases the best of horror staples.
Let's see here. Someone doing something incredibly stupid at the beginning? Check. Abandoned Asylum?
Cliches.
Check. Doing something incredibly check.
Old man who clearly needs a sandwich or a steak? Check.
I didn't know this one was a horror game. I thought it was more like along the lines of maybe Elder Scrolls or something. Thank you for this one, Glenn.
Alright. Dark Souls, which I've heard of, but never played. Dark Souls. Of course, alright. Expect to pay $20 or $30. You're right with that. There's an unshakable, Menlaki, medieval fantasy realm of Dark Souls, which only attempts to become lost in its depths. Dark Souls difficulty is its most talked about trait, but the feeling of loneliness and precaution that comes with combat are a powerful reason to investigate if you enjoy horror. Now, for example, Dark Souls is extremely hard, correct?
So I've heard.
Good.
So I've heard.
Good. You won't find scripted jump scares here. Dark Souls, subtle, relentless menace flows from its punishing systems. You're a fleshless, undeterred on a pilgrimage through the land of Lorden, collecting souls or bows that populate the castle, ramparts, sewers, and deep, gloomy forest. You can read mortals if you restore yourself to human status, but that'll be to more powerful invading players. At high levels, Dark Souls and unique multiplayer feature an extra layer of expert play. The PC port is part, but most of its visual got solved by the modding with the epic, whatever that is. Epic choose from the Dark Souls. Epic choose from the Dark Souls next to get the game into shape.
Basically, they said avoid the PC port.
The others, they're better.
Avoid at all costs.
Avoid.
Next up on the list is Thief, Deadly Shadows. Link, Steam. Expect to pay £7 or $10. I thought this was more stealth. Whatever. You might be the danger. Wait, what? You might be the danger in Thief most of the time, but you're forever one short, creepy boy from being stabbed in the face by one of the city's many dumb ace goons. With its endless shadows, its cold industrialization, and its secret factions flinging arrows in the dark, Thief has been flirting with horror since day one. The Deadly Shadows cements a relationship with one terrifying mission toward the end of the game. Shelby Cradle is an ex-orphanage turned asylum, go figure, and you don't need to be Derek and Cora to whoever that is, to surmise that it's now home to the tormented spirit of the undead. Cradle is an unusual thief mission that puts Garrett on the back foot, hiding from powerful hunters in an environment that, even more than usual, doesn't want him there. In horror films, there's a lot of build-up, too, before Shellbridge reveals itself to an orphanage turned asylum you don't want to investigate at night. Who knew, right? That would be the end of survival horror. Let's see what's next on the list. Act Part 1.
Action time. Now.
Since one's not here, I'll this one. On set. Take one. Action. Ever since Quake unleashed armies of hell beasts and mutants against us, decades of shooters followed suit. How can it be decades considering that Doom came out 20 years ago? Say more like, you should just say years or whatever. Whatever, I didn't write this shit. We spent years shooting horrible aliens, failed biotech experiments, monsters mutated by anime viruses, occult monstrosity, and then the old ghost. The odd ghost. How'd I get old out of odd? Name a horror antagonist. It's someone made a game that lets you shoot it with a rocket launcher. Just because you have a big gun, it doesn't mean you can't be scared. Games like Dead Space carry on the scarcity and the of a survival horror game, and then gives you enormous chopping devices with which to extract cathartic, bloody revenge. Amid some glorious point-blank shotgun shots, Fear takes advantage of the limitations of the first-person perspective to deliver a few scares with its creepy psychic villain Alma. Some of the games on the list below are great action games with horror elements, others, like Condemned, are interesting horror games with combat systems attached. Either way, expect gore, guts, and satisfying explosions aplenty. No, that was Resident Evil 3.
Alright, we're starting with Dark Souls 2. The sequel to Dark Souls. Link, Dark Souls 2 site that expect to pay TBA. TBA numbers, basically. What consents to accessibility will the sequel? Well, that, in the minds of Dark Souls fans that the world over as they Dark Souls 2 first release. Oh, it's a
Well, actually, hold on, Glenn, let me stop you. Okay. If you go back and look at the beginning, this was done in November 2013, so... Sorry to interrupt you, I just had to say that.
Really? Alrighty then. Please report suggest that this is
Trevor was talking to me once about the 50-foot tall metal thing. I think he kept calling it the Tower Knight, though. Whatever. There's no picture for the next one. At least not on hand, anyway. Haunt the House Terror Town. Link SFB games. £4 or $5. Not all horror games need grit. Haunt the House, a mischievous little action puzzler in which you play as a cuddly little cat and possess everyday objects in order to scare and visitors away from various establishments. Locations in all, ranging from cruise ships to hospitals to guest houses, and each has dozens of unique objects: a spooky grandpa clock, a spooky theater seat, or a spooky bass guitar. The videos are colorful, and all the townsfolk got a bug-eyed charm, reacting in different ways to your Noel Edmonds style goes like, gotcha! That's the original score, too. That could explain why they're not showing a picture on my end. They don't want me to die from cuteness overload.
Sorry, but did you just say gotchas like certain? Say that again?
reacting in different ways to the Noel Edmonds style goes like, gotcha!
Oh my god, no!
What?
We don't
What?
need her. We don't need her.
Oh,
We need her in here.
let me guess. Trolestia?
No, I was thinking Molestia.
Whatever.
Same thing.
Hey, I like how the next one was made. I like the link to the next one. Tequila. No, I was referencing the drink.
Deadlight. Link to the heel. Expect to pay $15 or £10. It just, from that image alone, it's just like another zombie game. Attack this glorious cinematic platformer prepares to take place inside a fully 3D world. Tequila Works Zombie Survival is actually 2.5D. Through getting its side-scroller extra dimension through clever use of perspective, helicopters stare off in and out of the screen that city scrambles. Ruined suburban houses, smoldering foreground, and bloody zombie hands claw at broken car windshield in the backgrounds of busy interstates. Some awesome 80s
iconography.
Iconography too, with the kids' band posters and playable LCD handheld games. These are the award moments when your character Ronald Wayne must involve 4 cars, dive down ditches in order to overrun a pet undead.
Zombies are coming, what do? Will that work? Hiding in the ditch. Oh my god, they're tearing my spine out!
Oh, my spine!
Put it back in!
Medic!
Oh, I called for the medic, not the heavy.
Hey, for that.
Well, according to Brental Floss, they share a legendary bromance, so...
Yeah, they do.
I don't know, I never played Team Fortress 2, whatever. Fear. Link. Steam. Expect to pay £7 or $10. John McClane, eat your heart out!
I do see that happening, but that image just looks so funny.
It's either that or Jackass. Hi, Johnson, welcome to Jackass! Fear is a better shooter than a horror, but is worthy of note for referencing Asian cinema with its creepy villain, a little girl who can rip apart people with guns. Fear also exploits the first-person perspective to create jump scares, using ladders and narrow corridors to funnel the player's view through a roller coaster of linear frights. Which is true, I played it a little bit. Catch glimpses of vomit in the corner of a room as light bulbs shatter. You'll only see your feet at the top of a ladder as you descend, and there's a gratuitous corridor of blood because the Shining deserves a nod every now and then. Come play with us, soldier. That's creepier than it should have. First-person techniques have been honed into a more constant horror experience by games like Outlast, but Fear has let you pin clone soldiers to walls with a stake gun, hit them in the face in slow motion as they scream, and a low-pitched slow-mo expression of terror. Psychological horror themes persisted in Fear sequels, Fear 2, Project Origin, and Fear 3. Oh, I like the next game. What, Doom 3? I used to have it.
Link, ID software. Expect to pay $9
Resurrection.
I know, I'm sorry. Why am I having some trouble with this? Resurrection of Eve, adding a Half-Life 2 style grab gun to its already impressive assortment of weapons. It couldn't hold a series more traditional BFG.
Can't go wrong with BFG. Oh, by the way, you know what one of the funniest parts about this game is? You can walk to a zombie when he's not looking and bash him in the head with a flashlight. Zombie's looking the other way, you get behind him. I'm dead! Boop! I actually managed to kill a zombie like that once. He just kept coming at me, I didn't have any ammo in my gun, so I'm like, bad! 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 And I killed him with a flashlight.
Bad! Get back in the cage right now!
Get back that bitch. Go back to hell! The Darkness 2. Link the Darkness 2 site. Expect to pay £20 or $30. Trying to figure out what the hell's going on here. Whatever. You play as Jackie Estacado, a Dawn of the Franchetti... oh, god damn it! You play as Jackie Estacado, a Dawn of the Franchetti crime family, and wielder a titular snake tentacle manifestation. And that's this equals something of a reverse horror in which you playing as a hard nightmare. Go, my children. But another of the game's plot threads turns the table on the supervillain setup. You play as Jackie Estacado, psychiatric war patient whose hallucinations being possessed mafia crime boss are dragging him further from reality. From the start, it's fairly obvious which of these scenarios is quote-unquote real, but it's so much fun to watch the game flip back and forth playing with Jackie's perception of himself. Oh, the best part, you can dual wield a Desert Eagle and an Uzi. Yay!
Uh-oh, we got a bad here.
Look at the screen blood.
I know, I see it. It's like sticking in my head.
I completely forgot about that.
I know, it's hilarious. I'm like thinking either everyone like this or I'm just gonna be on this is high. Look at it.
I only have one eye, so I'll have to do it with one eye. Wink.
Blood, link GOG. Expect to pay $4 and $4 or $5.09. Probably plus tax, which will make it $6. Blood is all out of order. You just happen to be the biggest monster around, looking to hit for once. Caleb, former lieutenant of the Dark God Terror.
Chernobog, you know, the devil Fantasia.
I have been left for dead in a shaft grave for reasons your master feels no particular need to share. Revenge is at the end of the bloody trail of Lovecraft country. A twist called Vera Heads, and even worse, mine. No, mine. And there's everything from the Dawn Dead out of the fan expansion Death Wish, reporting the lack of code released despite its infidelity. The engine hasn't seen the version that the other game vintage. Through the original, it still looks okay, repeated pictures.
That zombie with a pitchfork. Aliens vs. Predator. Link Steam. Expect to pay $5. You're alone. You're alone. This is Xenomorphs and a few almost killing machines. The randomly plays is brutal beyond belief, and this first trip to the heart of the Aliens vs. Predator universe remains arguably the most terrifying despite its limited graphics. You don't have to play as a squishy human, one facehugger away from losing a wireless mouse out the nearest window, but it does. Certainly it's infinitely tense than bloody aliens colonial marines. If you can't take it, you can also throw your stomach for a loop that's a constantly moving alien with confidence thanks to a Predator's arsenal. See offers similar skids with more polygons, the more recent game just sucks. Just how scary outdated graphics can work. Next.
Dead Space is my favorite first player. And I had two sentences. There is a scary time once you link Steam, also on Origin, for those who use Origin. You have to pay £10 and remember what was the first Dead Space. For free, thanks to these lanky aliens are noteworthy not just for their ability to fit into tiny closets and jump out at passing protagonists, but for the satisfying front of the narrow, only limb Dead Space high concept back
Screenshot from E. And I don't have a screenshot for it, but I can probably with a drill coming to your hand. Irrational. Music is a series about mystery. For the first game, the mystery was wrapped in the trappings of FPS horror. Rapture may have been a beautiful temple dedicated to objectivism and Art Deco architecture. By the time you arrive, it's a walk of grave. The dim light legend are a constant reminder of how far the monsters and animals and people. In the FPS most effective moments, the warped from their humanity. Little sister, someone is ringing. That would probably be one. Oh no. The Metro 2033. You know, they probably could kill him for a game if you think about it. Whatever. Moving on. Yeah. Expect to pay $30. There's the guy down on the ground. All I wanted was $20. And that guy in the background. Why did he have to do it on sex night? Breaks into the room, he's in bed with a girl. Please don't kill us on sex night. Pop, pop. Comes back to town him in the afterlife. You bastard. Poor Pripyat just can't catch a break. Real life has been abandoned since the Chernobyl nuclear disaster. And Stalker had also suffered the indignity of corrupted anomalies into the monsters focused on a harsh and struggle survival. Maybe secretly, first when you secure the base isn't what kills your fellow travelers around a campfire, but for the most part, your actually feel oppressive and lonely. All is the shadow of Chernobyl is also worth a look. Oh, it's like oh. Yeah. Anyhow, Clive Barker's Undying. It also stars the most dysfunctional diabetes.
Something that my little brother's doing like that.
We're in the eating section, down to Clive Barker's Undying.
Yeah. Guys, I have to go because I have to help my sister do something now. Yeah.
Okay, no problem.
Alright, so I'll see you guys later.
Yep. I can tell you why they didn't from the kitchen sink is because Clive Barker accidentally hid it behind the desk. I forgot to throw that in. Nobody will know. Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines. Expect to pay £50? Y'all, I don't have a screenshot, I don't have you. I'll take your word for it, I don't have a screenshot. And this is the last one to pay. Nope. Vampire the Masquerade, great case for why game developers shouldn't be ready to move away from penis fantasy to their quickly and seriously broken vampire theme. Sharp writing makes it an essential play for the role-playing enthusiasts. In modern-day LA, Your job is to explore the city's underworld, talking to the other citizens of the night while battling mortals and other vampires with a selection of powers and weapons. For the most part, Vampire is more empowering than terrifying, but the way it plays and cleverly subverts genre tropes makes it an essential addition to the list, albeit one that sits uncomfortably in the action category. Bloodline's difficulty to define is part of what makes it so good. Even so, for the best experience, you want to download the latest fan-made patch from click the red from here. Moving on to page 5. Part 2.
Action time. Part 2.
For a second I thought you were going to the Action League now.
Action League. Now.
Starring The Flush.
He's super quick. Started, I can't remember it all.
Whatever.
My memory is fine. Alright. What was it? Alright. Among the Sleep, Link, Crow Bites. I was almost as close to saying Crow and I don't know why. Expect to be TA. Games, well, horrors in general, take on vulnerability, which explains why Sylvester Stallone has never stood up against Johnson for years, as entertaining as that might sound on paper.
Hey, Johnson, I'm going to shores.
The star of Among the Sea must be the most vulnerable yet, a 2-year-old child plagued by paranormal disturbances and yet a shadowy, dreamlike imagery. The game literally finds a new angle of horror as you crawl about your way around a world that is already alien and unfriendly to your eyes. And even when it isn't trying to swallow you up Among the Sleep, added plus rift in pen and notation during its Kickstarter opinion all low, with the likes of Eve, Valkyrie, like a person showcase demons, Arctic. Among the Sleep is down. Review here, we're not looking at it.
Then we're moving on to... Hey, I think they did this one for 2000... Same Brothers did this one for Halloween Fest 2012. Limbo. Link to both sites. To pay £7 or $10. You might want to come get the Spider King. He's chasing some little kid. Dr. Somebody tell him he's not... Somebody pull him. He's not talking. Which one expecting the critic to bring him back? I'd like to see the critic review the movie Eight-Legged Freaks and bring in Dr. Smith. Oh, yes! Finally! Spiders! Happy now, Dr. Smith! There you have to get one up. For all its atmosphere and moody tension, Limbo's real illusion of the scariest spider in game. Giant spindly bleeds from your young protagonist. There's a startling brutality to this monochrome world, and through that the game gives you a real sense of mortality. All of which lends weight to the depiction of the monster he's in. Plot material and fluid, and it was full of trial and error. The outcome is that you're aware of just what you overcome.
I've seen a TV playthrough of Limbo. Looks pretty good. Next, The Binding of Isaac. You can find this on Steam, or if you jump to they're $4 for pounds and then $6. Okay, the true word is this view. While playing, you're too busy shooting tears at and evading disgusting slugs. Complete just how dark Ed McSmiley?
Millen.
Okay, game really is. Toddler Isaac attempts to escape his fundamentalist nutjob mother take him into a procedure-generated world home to horrors beyond imagine. Though McLean had thankfully imaged them anyway, leave for brain to tackle the tricky business. While Asia games happen in L4, losing everything upon death is a thought that's to most weight in the bumps, but Isaac is much better than much gets and gets, and but the legs or until he's squirming.
It's Yoda for Halloween.
That one seems the weirdest to me. I don't know why.
I don't have a picture for the next one. I wanted to do that. Call of Cthulhu, Dark Corners of the Earth. Wait, what?
Some sort of monster looking with his arms out. It's like a big no.
Call of Cthulhu, Dark Corners of the Earth. Link, expect to pay £6 or $10. Let's grab some myth. See? This word screws people up. Just like the guy does. Lovecraft's Cthulhu mythos should be a right playground for gaming scares. It's out like that. The fiction is often put to use in ways that fail to convey to ancient and maddening horror. Despite the buzz and clunky call, the corners of the earth is the first person to survive, stays true to its multitude of ideas and various rules. From escaping an assassination to being hunted by cults, fighting off Chicago deep ones. Our production editor Tony, that the game regularly makes an appearance in our wonder, and he yawned his way through amnesia. Let's start by determining death. I'm going to say, it was Professor Lum in the light with the candlestick.
Genius. Alright, Tom John. Alright, next, condemned known for its meaty, violent first-person combat and for skittering some detective elements into its familiar jump scare. FBI agent Ethan Thompson of a serial killer called the Matchmaker. High words of deranged waters and of delinquents, all ready to grab a lead life and gave your head in before you can say, oh god, led by There are grand scenes people have decided to learn to love later adopted by the Batman Arkham games. Commended is a good starting point if you're after comfortable.
So Batman is a thief. I knew it. Alright, Bruce, let's start by determining the cause of death. He was killed by the door. Because how else do you die with a shitting grin on your face? True.
Anything that involves anyone with a death of the small lippers is the joke.
You don't know that. How do you know that? Batman's dead for 2 years. You saw that yourself. I just know. I'm Batman.
I'm Batman. I know everything.
Alan Wake's site. Expect 80 pounds or $30. An Insomniac off-field Stephen King homage. Alan Wake, you're... As Insomniac author Stephen King homage, Alan Wake, you're playing battle with occult forces. Your life vanishes on holiday and takes Stephen King's homage Bright Fall. Confused by the increasingly blurred and waking world and vicious dreaming one, Alan stumbles through dark forests looking for answers, scouring attacks with his flashlight, and using his revolver to finish him off. Remedy ditched Matt Payne to build Wake, and spent constructing a new engine to support it. The lighting tech is crucial in contests photosensitive bad guys is today, and there's a fun current of meta humor running throughout. As he explores, Alan discovers Payne narrating his actions and hinting at the horrors to come. I wish I'd say, but all I have is a big red X.
Manhunt moves the snuff movie to the CAC TV page. You'll play as James Earl Cash, a death row convict, smuggling into an abandoned city district and hope to kill its roaming gangs in the most spectacular violent ways, which follows in a tense and bloody game of hide and seek. As you develop
Decapitated.
It's a Korean dwarf procession of uncomfortable reality concerned with death and conflict intentions, trying to all eyeing it while it was looking at it. And that's his currently with it.
Ooh, she has it. Now find the next, chop off his head, shove it up his ass. Ooh, I'm getting so on here. Dude, you got... I wonder how many people listening to this when you say James Earl, they're like, plays James Earl Jones? Is Cash? Is he related to Johnny? Probably not. Kill the clown! For Dead 2. He was one of the worst career clown. The AI director was a fascinating experiment in dynamic court pacing that is yet to be better. It's a game for up to 4 playing the cooperative versus mode, in which you battle through zombie apocalypse 90-minute levels. Zombies pour out the dynamically selected spawn ported by some mini-bosses like for sequence around them, who can snare another with a long rash tongue, I remember him, and drag them away from safe in the pack. Before the monsters becomes minerals like fodder, Left 4 Dead's creepy sing which is what sound cues in game. press of the ominous orchestral pennant accompanies the giant blade tank. Each player's health stat, shots fire, and friends reasonably values are grouped by the AI director. Sim regulates the size and for future horde rushes to maintain God damn it, we're open up here. To maintain a sense of tension. That reaches a crescendo with the final dramatic hold-up at the end of each campaign. A great horror game and a sensational co-op experience. We chose Left 4 Dead 2 here because all of the games came into the sequel, which means there's a little reason to go back. It is. Probably the only game I can think of at the moment, of course, where you can, in first-person mode, go after zombies with a chainsaw or a samurai sword. And it's funny, you chop a zombie in half with a samurai sword, it just falls to the ground like, oh man. Zombie! Oh man!
Killing for Link 4. Okay. Expect £15, $25. Killing for the 6-player co-op against waves of rushing music. By the way, same for Left 4 Dead, but note that this is orchard. Another while where experts at making fun to set the corner spot from waves send a cat element to each successful by one story. In numbers, cloaking, black spider repeating attack from the stitched together behemoth fighters from afar, and there's extremely tough monsters with the monsters hitting the flower and the ability to wield the door shut to funnel forth and kills a strategic element that you'll have to negotiate quickly between rounds.
Okay, so we have spiders and the rock. That would not be funny. That would be terrifying.
Alright, this is Resident Evil 4, 5, 6.
Yep, Resident Evil 4, 6. Link, Resident 4, 5, and 6. That's easy to remember. 8, 4, 6. LD, bam, bam. Who let the dogs out? Gridfield let the dogs out. Y'all forgot about that, didn't ya? Evil 4. The game let down a poor PC port. Nevertheless, it marked a huge turnaround for this. Dawn with a fixed camera angle, peered over the shoulder of floppy-haired protagonist Leon as he queued up headshots with a laser-sight pistol. Enemy still showed, but was not on to carefully view limits. And refused to follow that actually placed spot escalate, both corpus and enemy skulls would start splitting apart at close range to reveal hideous blacticles. The survival horror trappies were gone, but the scares remained. Resident Evil successfully mutated into an expertly paced action game. Resident Evil 5 was a better port, but relatively lackluster in spite of the addition of co-op. The game had its moments, but its best buy is as a lighthearted co-op kickabout. Those who visit the glory of the first 3 Residents keep an eye on the development The Evil Within, created by Resident Evil guru Shin Mikami. Shin Mikami? Dude. Me. Charge.
Link is painful. Expect to pay £9 and $15.
Look at this.
Is it horror comedy?
Question.
Is it horror or is it comedy? I'm not, you tell me. Painkiller is truly is old-fashioned shooter about explosively fragments in the globs of fleshy cat food. Well, that isn't very crazy. You are Daniel Renner, a man considered to the Targaryen after dying in a crash. To attention, you must kill Lucifer and every single one of their many demonic forms with a series of purpose. There is a ray gun, grenade launcher, the electro driver, which shoots shurikens and lightning bolts, and the launcher, chain gun, basically everything.
Come here.
Give me.
That was Boom's death battle.
I know. 3 years ago, this game, Painkiller Overdose was released, casting you a half-angel entity called Veil, and giving it more steps with instruments spectacular actions of genocide and armies. They've aged a bit since their release, but you can trace its influence back to the likes of Quaker and Blood. There is mostly from the out of budget.
I'm about to look at that screenshot. I like George, and for some reason I hear them doing that with the Lane. That's kind of the value. Anyway. What am I doing? I'm off. Realms of the Haunting. Link Gog. Or whatever. Expect to be $5.99. Well,
Surprising sounds.
yeah, surprisingly. Was this created by not got anything against the Brits. While time hasn't been kind to its technology, realms of the haunting still offers horror feeling. Subject to the clutches of an ancient French sorcerer's hunting worlds for an interdimensional tale of tragedy, deals with the devil, minions, and minions. One of its best features is that while early on it goes for the solitary horror of enough to know when to the addition of a partner, mysterious Trebizard, offering a sounding board to discuss the house's mysteries and help pick through the rich background detail. Older Gate fans can also look forward to the treat of Pickle from Next Demon wearing gloves. We don't splendid. We're moving on to is Horror Adventure Part 1.
I'll be honest with you, I kept like looking through the games there's some facts for this year, sadly.
What do you mean by sadly?
I wanted to see what
What's scary about that game?
like, I don't know how, I've seen people play it, I still get scared, I don't know how though. I got used to it after a while now, but still. Adventure game, for some, horror game, part 1. Adventure game, horror adventure games part 2. Adventures are a great vehicle for some of the explorative, slow-burn horror. They're also often incredibly strange. It found no bad moments when you play a cockroach running with oversized creatures real, exterminator slain animals, harvester, one of the most games ever made. Adventure games also have mentions to create a point that exploited such a likable character destroyed horribly at any moment up to that consequence for years.
Oh my god, they have a picture of 90210 in the locker.
Understand even if I tried.
Gone. Link, the Fulbright Company. Expect to pay £15 to $25. One of the highest rated horror games on this list isn't really a horror game at all. It's a love story?
Question mark?
Oh, hold on, before I continue, let me wrap my... How do you get... Maybe they'll explain. A teenage girl comes home to find her family absent and pieces together their lives from everyday objects they've left behind. Still, skulking around an empty house, floorboards creaking, rain lashing at the windows, works so well at building tension that Gone Home is a great horror game almost by accident. It's at once isolated and intimate. How? Where do you get love story out of that?
I don't see it.
Neither do I. I guess I didn't want to have spoilers, but... I don't get it.
Right? The next is Murdered Soul Suspect. Soul Suspect. Like, come on. Like, airtight art, yeah. Those are airtight games. Expect to pay £30 or $50.
Hello, Copper, right here. Copper, right here. Copper, I'm talking to you, damn it.
Stop eating on that donut.
Donut down! No, wait, I said it wrong. Put that donut down!
The hardest murder to solve is your own in spiritual fear of murder. Here, Detective Ronald O'Connor tracks the stick killer who lost him in a violent burglary. How rude. How rude.
Dick.
The gothic town of Salem was living in Edwards to probe as you like a smart lead pulley gesture and possess people teleport between the locations among their cell phones. You're not just messing about through, it's all to gain information leading to the killer's capture. As a plus, your hero wears a fedora. Actually, wait, the minus.
You got something against fedoras?
I don't know, you tell me the person who wrote this review.
Apparently he does. Walking Dead. Link, The Walking Dead. I expect to pay $21, $25. Can't reach. I can't.
Let me in.
Okay, you know, dude, I don't think this is what they mean by return. I don't want to curse the wood. Glenn, do me before you go back to the show, shoot him. Is anyone so scared of zombies? Sure, they're creepy. There's something intrinsically unsettling about bacon sack of human flesh. But when is the last time you felt visceral, gut-wrenching fear in the presence of the horde? Blood, guts, and real subsurface glistening just don't do it anymore. Tales The Walking Game on the Walking Game. The game grows legs and walks. Telltale's The Walking Dead, on the other hand, foregoes an enemy lesson for something altogether more harrowing. The poem is about extras in a bleak human drama, a plot device to prompt the false is watch what happens when people break. Those people written and acted with a plum, whatever that is, make for a more immediate, more believable horror story than gore alone can accomplish. The Walking Dead could be a real, audible portrayal of a world gone to shit, and that is scary indeed. And it's the only time I can think of that I've seen that actually made PewDiePie break down crying or break down sobbing. Scream. At the end of Walking Dead Season 1, after Clementine is forced to either leave or kill Lee, actually breaks down crying.
I think he had right to do that. Like, it is sad.
Yeah, he's the character that he plays most of the time. You grow attached to him, spend his entire time trying to protect sweet, adorable little Clementine, and then you get chomp. And it's like, well, you have a choice. Leave me, or put a bullet in my face.
That's pain. Next is Darkness Within in Pursuit of Love. No. I was about to say no, but it was so close. Link Smoky Games. £8 per dollar and free demos available.
Oh, I just hate it when a portal to hell appears in your living room.
What now?
Look at the screen.
Oh, I see it. Yeah.
I just hate it when a portal to hell appears in your living room.
I hate when that. They sometimes fall in there. Improbable name. Private investigator Nolder has gotten and the only made man capable of finding him is one how he Lord. A fellow graduate of the University of True Belief. Terrible character names. Darkness is a Lovecraftian point and lit horror with all the candles, dark quarters, and puzzles you expect, but its sequel shakes things up by embracing full first-person movements. Istanbul-based developers Zeotrope had disappeared off the radar since the 2008, so chances of a third Darkness Within seem slim at best.
Guess that's what happens when you make your game over in Turkey. Cat's Matches. Look, Mom, no hands! Barrow Hill, Curse of the Ancient Circle. Link, Barrow Hill site. Expect to pay pounds of $13. Plenty of mid-style point-and-click horrors have been released over the last decade or so, but Barrow Hill is one of the wittier and more rewarding static adventure games you'll come across, boasting a solid story and a pleasantly underutilized setting. The dark and witchy Cornwall wilderness. The carefully constructed atmosphere does fall apart slightly when the weird South Park-style character models make their ugly appearance, but there's a mostly enjoyable piece of archaeological point-and-click you'll offer. South Park? What? Oh, you know what? Now I just hear Cartman in the middle of this game and he just decides, yeah, screw you guys. Your mommy face that bitch. I don't... I should have shown one of those characters on here, because I've not seen... Okay, maybe I'm seeing South Park a little bit in the Matchbox, but... South Park. Everybody, Osama Bin Laden has party pants. That was the name of an episode, by the way.
Alright, now, but the bomb is president now. I think that was like, I forgot his name. I never watched South Park, but I remember the full, like, that strange guy. I forget his name.
There's a lot of strange guys. Which one?
I forget his name. Darn it, it never comes to me. Next is Sonic Edition. Link GOG, expected to pay £22.99 and $29.99. Look, no hand.
I can't tell. I once again have a big red X.
Okay, try to imagine a girl with a gun floating in her hand. Or, like, going to her hand, maybe. I don't know.
Look what I can do.
It's like her face is like screaming, but the gun is in her hand. Like, either she's tossing it or she's catching it. I can't tell. Right. Her name is Eric Reed, and she has power few possesses to star in an episodic adventure game only sums over its voice procedural elements, but knows how to stage and time aggressively cut themes that manages to keep the pressure on anyway. King's previous effort, King's Quest fanfic, The Silver Lining, but one which did not well for them. It's no secret that it's spite of the Garble Night series and the creator James Jensen for consolation. They're now working on that game's actual remake due sometime next year.
And Harry Potter needs a stick to do this. Ha!
We're using our minds here.
Well, look at the person in this screenshot. Sucks to be them. Whatever. Waxworks. Link. Dog. Expect to pay £4 or $6. For many years, Waxworks was the king of gory death scenes. They're still pretty damn nasty. Waxworks is an old-school adventure where the difficulty dial turned all the way to cruel, opening 5 paths to 5 hideous worlds via a collection of Waxworks displays. You'll find yourself facing off against Jack the Ripper through fungus-infested minds and many instant death traps, constantly greeted with scenes of eye-popping horribleness, with brutality, and oh, so many more delicious things. You at least get some weapons to play with, including a chainsaw. They don't make things much easier. Again, not a good game to play while or just after eating. Oh, you think? By the way, why is there a random Roman soldier down there? Go up to the screenshot and look at the bottom left corner.
Yeah, I see it now. There's also like a dragon thing on the other side.
Looks like a gargoyle. It's Hudson!
The devil.
It's Hudson! What are you doing here?
I don't know. Alright, next is
Phantasmagoria!
Phantasmagoria. Link GOG, expect to pay $10 or £7. Released at the height of FMV, an adventure game F80. Phantasmagoria revolves around Brenda, who moves into a mansion formerly owned by a 19th century magician. You can probably see where she went. You could use the word controversial about a full notion of adventure games, but this outlandish horror game featured plenty of violent scenes, earning it a reputation as one of the nastiest FMV titles around. Today it looks like a particularly shocking episode of Nightmare, though there's doubtless plenty of historical bow to its garnished mixture of live-action footage, puzzles, and pre-rendered props.
This screenshot, you look at the mirror, she's like, oh my god, this is it.
Oh my god, I look terrible. I should get a new outfit immediately.
Well, it's up to TJ Maxx.
Well, not to get my seventh word. How do I grab her?
The seventh guest, Link, GOG, or GOG, however you want to say. Expect to pay £7 and $10. I hate sliding puzzles like that.
Sliding puzzles I can do sometimes.
You're not going to be kept glued to your seat by the seventh guest haunted course unless you count Crane to try to hear what the permanent poorly done FB is trying to say, but it's still a game with power when it comes to atmosphere. Fantastic soundtrack combines with some nicely done 3D and occasionally even creepy outbursts from the mad toy maker who owns the most iconic horror houses. The action puzzles are often quite silly, involving fare like slicing cake into pieces, infamously deducing a message from soup cans, but the rapping makes them at least temporarily feel like more than they are. Gave people the crease back in 1993 when CD-ROM was a novelty. Still do so today if you're willing to meet it halfway.
Harvester.
I can't see the screenshot, so
Looks kind of weird. Like, how can I explain it?
let's just leave it at weird.
Yeah, just leave it weird. Link Moby Games expect to pay £10 or $15. Phantasmagoria is the most infamous horror adventure of the interactive
second I thought I was going to say, check out our Saturday morning cartoon lineup.
Yeah.
It's... No more Saturday morning cartoons on the local channels.
No, that's not really. Or my sister probably. Probably like on Boomerang somewhere.
Yeah, but I'm talking about like on Fox, CBS, the CW. They got rid of those. No more.
Yeah, but there's still those cartoons from
Yeah,
Cartoon
I
Network.
know, but it's just... Did you ever get up early on Saturday just to watch the cartoons on like Fox Kids or whatever?
I used to.
Or the Disney Channel back when they actually had good shit to play?
Yes.
Yeah, that's kind of what I mean. Anyway, we're moving on to page 7.
Yeah, Adventure Games, Part 2.
Again, I don't have a screenshot, so I can't comment on it, but White Day. Link Moby
Well,
Games.
it's
Expected.
simple. Just imagine this. I believe a girl with very long hair covering her face that's white, wearing a white top or dress. That's it. That really is it.
Give me the image of an old age cousin it.
Like, seriously, that's what it is.
Okay, so pay £10 or £9.99. I think somebody fucked up there.
Probably.
Hard to find, harder to get working, not least because you need a translation patch to get it out of its original Korean. White Day is a horror adventure worth the time. It's set in school after dark. Why? With the creepiness turned up to a level where the janitor starts calling the cat. You're not alone, more's the pity. With stealth, the only survive long enough to get to the bosses that want you dead. Players complained it was too scary, condemning the horrors to the harder difficulty levels. If you can track down a copy, check it out. It's clunky in many ways, but different so many more.
So many more.
Wowzers.
Wow. Yeah, I don't know what to make of this screenshot, if you can see it properly.
I can see it. Wowzers.
Yeah. Alright. Next is Bad Mojo. Expect to pay £10 or $9.99. $9.99.
Oh, yes.
Still can't make fun of it. Alright. Half back in this adventure we can all be glad is one of a kind. You're a man turned into a cockroach in the world's filthiest apartment, facing scared up horror designs to churn your stomach. Spiders, fly traps, dead rats, and traps. Like the obvious screenshot we're looking at here.
Yep.
What was it?
Our bloody fish.
That's a bliss. Dead rats and traps. Craved bloody fish. If you're not already feeling queasy, here's a fun fact. They're real dead animals. Acquired by the developers from exterminators in the local markets, left in the studio lighting and lovely carved up for your squeamish pleasure. There's also a plot, but it doesn't even matter even a little. Don't play this one after eating. Make some time afterwards to give your house/room/apartment to clean you up. Give it.
What would compel them to go to the local market? Hey, I need 5 of these dead animals here. Why? 'Cause we're making a video game. What are you on?
It's so weird. Like, games get weird after a while.
Guess so. Lost Crown. Link, the Lost Crown site. Expect to pay £3 or $5. This guy looks like he's filming in the Marble Hornets. Which to anyone who doesn't... Yeah, which to anyone who doesn't know Marble Hornets, don't let the title confuse you. That's some shit I've ever seen. It's the only thing that actually gave me nightmares for a week. It's a Slender Man thing on YouTube, so I should explain it. If you didn't look past the endearingly amateur voice acting, not to mention the main character Nigel Danvers' rather alarming face, The Lost Crown is a very British seaside adventure game which should appeal to those haunted. Not me. Creepy English villages, the characters who are called things like Nigel Danvers. Jonathan Bowes has built up a sizable collection of ghostly adventures over the years, including the Dark Falls series and, very soon, a Lost Crown sequel entitled The Last Crown. This one is a curiously mostly mock-from point-and-click set in a quaint little town supposedly hiding a long-lost Anglo-Saxon crown. Oh, and ghosts. How to forget the ghosts. someone else.
Don't do that. You're gonna hurt my reference.
Okay, who are we gonna call? How about an all-female cast?
Really?
No, they're seriously doing that. They're seriously doing that. They're remaking Ghostbusters with an all-female cast. Make of that what you will.
Okay. Wow, they have games. That's what the screenshot is saying if you don't see it.
Yeah.
Expect to pay £7 or $10.
Hold on, wait, before you go on. Look at that octopus. His eyes are all dirt, his tongue's sticking out, he's like, yeah.
Sanitarium is a psychological horror adventure, and for once it's one that lives up to the description. Obsessed as it is with sanity and madness and the general inner workings of the human mind, it's set in a surreal series worlds possibly constructed from the delusions of its animistic main character, an asylum patient who survives a car crash only to wake up in a bizarre
Isometric.
Landscape. Sanitarium is a true courier of the late 90s adventure scene, a cult classic band Sparta, the spiritual successor of Kickstarter, which sadly ended well short of its funding goal.
I have to ask, why does everyone have to have amnesia in these games?
Because it would make sense.
It's too convenient. Oh my god, a finger.
I point my finger at you. Objection.
Scratches. GOG. Expect to pay £8 or $13. Oh, wall!
Hold it right there.
I found a flaw in your testimony.
Gotcha.
Authors seeking spooky places which to write their great works must surely know what they're letting themselves in for the moment they set foot inside the crumbling Victorian mansion, notepad in hand. So it goes with one Michael Arthate, who is required an old estate in Northumberland with the aim of getting some peaceful writing done. Yeah, this doesn't happen. Instead, freaky stuff starts happening, which Michael soon investigates by moving a disembodied hand around and tapping in on stuff to solve puzzles. That's the kind of thing you can only really get away with in point-and-click adventure games. People frown and call you names when you do the same thing in your local branch of Debenhams. Seriously though, somebody take this screenshot and throw it, add Phoenix Wright to that and have him yelling, "Objection! You're not a wall!"
You are a wall. You cannot talk. That's how he practices. Objection. He just keeps swinging at the wall. Next, Lone Survivor.
I don't have a screenshot, so...
It's just pixels of a man.
Oh. Go figure.
Lone Survivor site, expect to pay £9 or $30. Jasper Bryan's short Silent Hill remake Soundless Mountain 2 may have put into the developer's love for all things Team Silent. But Lone Survivor proved it beyond all doubt. Like that... What? Oh, sorry. Yes? Alright. Sorry about that. It's a classic if you pretend the last few games didn't exist. Horror series. Let's pose the creepy fog surrounding town, a heavy psychological element, and the best soundtrack Erika Yamamoto never wrote. Lone Survivor is more than just a love letter to Silent Hill. However, it's an accomplished horror in its own right, showing the level of polish and professional comes with labor in over a project for years, rather than looking something up for a game jam weekend. Every smothered pixel bit of wall was crystal or infected zombie has been placed with great care and result in the most atmospheric, immersive work around. Lone Survival has a demo if you want to try it out.
Okay. Now for the next one, I actually read the original story that's based off of, and that was weird.
What is it?
It was weird. It's like people in a post-apocalyptic world run by a computer that likes to fuck with their mind. At the end, it turns one guy into a blob, hence the title, because he doesn't have a mouth. I have no mouth and I must scream. Link, GOG. Expect to pay £4 or $6. Alternative titles include I have no nose and I must sneeze, and I have no fingers and I must scratch. Thankfully, Harlan Ellison Company went with a slightly more terrifying title they have now. This hugely original horror adventure, based on the short story of the same, revolves around a computer that has all but eradicated humanity, save for 5 minutes keeps tracked in some sort of metaphorical. Not only are they trapped, they're also being kept alive and tortured for the AI's own amusement. There are several different endings depending on your actions, but if you're not a fan of candy, it's alright, I suppose. If you read this, people, I did not say that reading this. The ultimate goal of the game is to prove that humans are the machines and to reclaim what's left of the artificial intelligence that has long since written us off. Oh, it's about damn time we get to the... What's that frog doing?
What is it?
Look down at the screenshot alone in the dark.
I don't know.
Looks like he's teabagging Edward Carnby. Teabag, 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 ribbit, 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 teabag, teabag, ribbit.
Wait, that's a frog?
That's what it looks like. Given the graphics, it looks like a frog. I know it's supposed to be a big one, but it looks like a frog with a really derpy face.
Alone in the dark. Link, OG, expect to pay £4 or $6 for a bundle of Alone in the Dark 1, 2, and 3. In 2005, it became a rubbish film. In 2008, it got a rubbish reboot. But back in 1992, the Alone in the Dark became one critical acclaim. The Guinness Book of World Records has it as the first ever 3D survival horror game. Wow. It's set in a mansion infested with zombies, people, and various other supernatural creatures. Lesser PCs can be kicked and punched to death, but the rest can be killed or bypassed puzzles. It was a landmark at the time, but to modern eyes, Alone in the Dark has not aged well, and the attempted reboot failed to match up to the likes of Resident Evil. Alone in the Dark still has its fans, but it's best investigated as a historical trio.
I never played him. I played a little bit of the 2008 reboot. It couldn't figure out controls. That was my only gripe. But I've seen a couple of videos, and it actually made a video of the top 10 creepiest moments in games. And one of the highlights was how you fight. At one point, I guess the fighting mechanics actually, you can, because of the fighting mechanics, you can bitch slap a giant rat. Giant rat's coming. Bitch slap.
Be pleased.
Slap.
Alright, next.
Experimental horror games. Some of the weirdest games have ever made have been horror games. They defy genre and introduce systems designed to deliberately generate frustration, rage, or, in the case of The Void, a feeling of entropic existential demise. Others, like Alone, embrace new technology like Oculus Rift to push it into new territory. Then there's Deadly, but nobody really knows what's going on with that. Alright, I'll start with this one. White Noise. That was a rather... I didn't care too much for that movie. Oh, the game. Never mind. Link, Milkstone Studios. Expect to pay £10 or $17. Flashlights, 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 flashlights. Wait a minute, that one girl looks like Velma from Scooby-Doo.
It just needs to change the coloration of that jacket. Or maybe get rid of
No, get rid of the blue jacket and it'll be Velma. Look, the glasses, the red hair, the orange shirt, the orange skirt. It's Velma!
Oh yeah, you're right. Shoot. Copyright.
Despite Tolkien's solo functionality, White Noise Online comes alive, or should that be dead? No, I was right the first time, it should be alive. In co-op, where up to 4 budding ghost hunters team up. Oh god, I was right. Scooby-Doo style. Or should that be Nancy Drew style? No, I was right the first time. It should be Scooby-Doo style. Stop doing that, writer! Stop doing that, writer! In order to explore eerie locations and unravel sinister mystery, hopefully before roaming monster devours them all, or the ghost hunters, not the mysteries. Take a multi-player film and slaughter the arrival, but with over 15 playable characters, each one with their own perks and skills. Check out the replay feature on which players can check the path their friends followed. Why did you go over there, dick, you ask? Looking back up that screenshot, I'm expecting Scooby to pop up going, ruh-roh, and Shaggy to yell, zoinks!
Alright, next. Link, Telltale.
What's the shot? I don't see it.
Just imagine a boy and a girl camping, and they're just sitting all in front of the campfire.
Boring.
In the forest.
Boring.
Alright. This short experiment horror plays like a modern-day version of Light Riding Hood. Oh, Little Red Riding Hood. And it's ripe with more of truth, like that famous quote from Folklore. You can either stick to the path, or if you're not, you stick straight from it, watching for the wolves to lie in wait. With grandmother falling ill, your mom sends you and 5 sisters, all of whom playable characters on errands for work, will still based on liking and challenge the developers now to play the game in a traditional sense, seeing as losing in the path gives a larger glimpse of the story. It's one of the most memorable horror games of all. One you'll need an active imagining and just look at the image. Can you see the image for your walk?
No.
Try to imagine a tall figure with a head with no eyeballs.
And now I just want to move on. Year Walk. Link Simogo. Expect to pay £5 or $8. What on earth happened to Simogo? How did the developers follow a clutch of kid-friendly iOS curios like Bumpy Road and Beat Snake Bandit with this disturbing oddity? Alas, we can only assume they've gone insane. But on the Swedish tradition of I have no idea, quite literally year walking, this sometimes 2D times 3D point-and-click sees players roam a snowy forest solving puzzles and encountering supernatural beings from the freaky brook horse to the creepy dead baby you need to give it. Huh? During one puzzle, you have to remember the notes of a witch's song and replicate it. There was even an in-game encyclopedia to brush up on genuinely interesting juicy Scandinavian folklore. Though developed for smartphones, it slides seamlessly into mouse and keyboard. What?
And just the image makes it even worse.
Maybe after this I'll go watch an episode of Littlest Pet Shop.
Just recently they were showing clips for an episode today.
Well, I wasn't watching it, so. I was downstairs. I was down in my room where I am right now, playing The Legend of Dragoon. It's a JRPG, think Final Fantasy, sort of.
That's all logic. Link about logic site that expect to pay £6 or $10.
Who invited Pyro?
Pathologic. Oh, you get the good one next. Alright. Pathologic is ugly and broken. It will sit on your hard drive like a game in need of amputation. If this sounds like a criticism, it is. Beyond the purified atmosphere, pathologic is about also weird and
theatrical.
Breaking the fourth wall and questioning your role as player. Breaking the fourth wall. You choose one of 3 characters, each with their own mysterious past. Afterwards, mass figures explain the rules of the game, that you have 12 days to cure the town of its disease, and that time will progress regardless of your actions. Helps by, you'll have to pick your goal while gathering resources and helping characters in the hope of slowing down the inexorable decay. Whatever your choice, the town continues to rot, and the game builds towards its horrific conclusion.
That the Pyro is coming for you.
Burn it all.
And then it turns out the Pyro is a spy.
Pyro is spy!
Because apparently spies are bullshit. I don't know. I don't play Team Fortress 2. Again, I'm going off of Brental Foss's song. Next. Oh, this should make Xset happy. The Void! Link, tension games. Expect to pay £8 or $12. Check a hammock. I don't know how to do it or not. The only thing I can do in Xset voice is the Void. See
if you can read this in the voice.
Ice peak log cemented. I can't do it. I get through 4 words and I realize I suck. Icepick Lodge cemented their reputation for creating disturbing and nightmarish landscapes with The Void. This first-person survival game is set in a gray purgatorial realm ruled by a group known as the Brothers. Warp creatures seek to control the realm's supply of life-giving color. You survive by storing color in your internal organs, but must also draw glyphs to fight color 3 to create pathways between the Void's bizarre dimensions. Are we playing a horror game or Okami? All the while, the Brothers watch, first assuming that you're one of them, but becoming more suspicious and more dangerous as you grow in power. The entropic decay of your stored color makes the Void a difficult game, but there's nothing else like it. Brothers in particular are an impressive and magic defeat. One is a groaning wheel of limbs, and another floats on top of a bloated sack of flesh. The Void blends body with existential ennui, whatever that is, in a way that hardly makes it pleasant to play, but it's a must if you enjoy weird game worlds. This sounds like a description for Epic Mickey.
Epic Mickey.
What am I doing in a horror game? Oh.
I actually like that game.
Screenshot for alone, so...
It's hard to say what it is, basically. I don't know. It looks like two Game Boys come together. Or maybe two consoles?
Yeah.
Okay, Alone, Link Ring Premiums. Expect to pay a free prototype demo available at the link. This experiment Oculus Rift game puts you on a couch in a lonely house and asks you to play a horror game on the virtual TV in front of you. Well, that's what it is, right? Then just try to imagine yourself doing what that thing just said.
Okay.
Just right. What's going on up there?
It kind of reminds me of that one episode of The Fairly Odd Parents where Timmy wishes he were in his video game. He puts on the VR helmet and he's in the video game. I lost a life. I'm level 1. What am I, 4?
Sorry, that one was a funny one. As you play, events in the TV game start to bleed into the virtual house around you. Spooky whispers appear behind you. Curtains will start to doors start breaking. It's soon hard to shake the feeling that there's something in the house with you. It's an unnerving psychological experiment that its developers attempted to kickstart. The 10-minute prototype shows up the game's potential well enough, but the cool third-person adventure you play on your virtual TV there will list the first-person horror game called The Twitching Hour, set in a gothic version of the 1800s. If you have, you can download the demo for free from the Oculus Rift site.
Which I do not.
I do not have you.
Deadly Premonition. Link GOG. I've seen a lot of those on this list.
And Steam, don't forget the Steam.
True. Expect to pay? Hey, £18 or $25. It looks like a screenshot from Heavy Rain. We need to get to the hospital and get those autopsy reports. Whatever. It's Peaks, the video game. It's one of the best games of the year. It's one of the worst games of the year. It's a chaotic mix of imagination and genius. It's a frustrating combination of bloody awful design and writing bad enough to turn milk into cheese with its mere presence. Its quirky take of survival horror is refreshing. Its combat is bloody awful. Say what you want about Deadly Premonition, though, it's an experience. Some would argue it's having a root canal performed by Zebedee from the Magic Roundabout. I don't know. With the fan patch currently picking up its appalling resolution, though, it's one of the more interesting games you might make in the near future. Expect greatness, even if you absolutely love it. Expect the unexpected, though, almost from the very beginning.
Alright, next.
Now, I don't have a screenshot for Yume Nikki, so...
Try to imagine the hand going up, but with a trail of line behind them, as well as stairs with a kid riding a bicycle going down. Just, you mean Nikki.
What?
From, like, yeah, that's what I saw. That's what I'm looking at. You mean Nikki, Link, you mean Nikki site. Expect to pay free. Probably the biggest and most enduring cult indie horror around, inspiring fan sequels, anime, and even albums. You mean Nikki is as ambitious as it is terrifying. Tell a story, if you can call it that, of a young girl named Mando Saki, and of the strange, disturbing things she sees in her dreams. Nothing more than the environment sees it for yourself in unexpected ways. Despite there being no way for Masaki to die, all she says that the fact that she keeps returning to this nightmare tribute makes this more disturbingly most.
Apparently there's two ways to come out of Tsuki. Whatever. I don't have a screenshot for this one either, son of a bitch. Home. Link, home site. Expect to pay £2 or $3. Hey, that's a good Phoenix song.
I'll be right back. I'm gonna go to the bathroom. Give me a second, alright?
Alright, should be done with this one by the time you get back.
Alright.
There's no place like home. And that's the theme with the side-scrolling indie horror. And that's the theme this side-scrolling indie horror taps into as it turns the familiar on its head. Waking up in an unfamiliar house, you have to piece together what's happened, and what's still happening, as the world appears to be falling apart around you. Well, perhaps that's not quite accurate. Despite being in control of its nameless protagonist, this game also puts you in the role of a narrator, asking you to shape the narrative key points in the story by choosing what the main character did or didn't do in certain situations. Like the real thing, home is what you make of it. Only instead of deciding on scattered cushions or where to put that chaise lounge, you're deciding the fate and gridliness of its curious central character. Since it's not back yet, I'll continue on. If I get a shot, I'll talk about what the screenshot is. If not, well, I won't. Master Reboot. Wales Interactive. Expect to pay £12 or $20. Imagine a world where death is no longer final, where precious memories are safe to enjoy forever, where your soul is immortal. Master Reboot conjures up a pretty terrifying vision of the cloud gone bad, of a digital man-made heaven that's unsurprisingly quite as rosy as it initially appears. This newly minted indie game combines science fiction element with first-person exploration and horror in an all-digital world constructed from the memories of dead inhabitants. It's easily one of the most imaginative games on this list and progressive in an unexpected way. Steam page proudly boasts that Master Reboot supports the Welsh language. Something in Welsh. Will love tear us apart. Link, will love tear us apart. I don't know. Expect to pay. Free to play online at the above. What the fuck am I looking at? I can't describe this. I really can't. There are few more horrifying prospects than that of being made to re-explore the intricacies of an irrevocably broken relationship again and again. Will Love Tear Us Apart harnesses the themes of Joy Division's hit to create a strange and disturbing experience which you must treat with a hideous, swollen partner on a hopeless quest for reconciliation. Sparse line art evokes an empty, angst-ridden world as the game evolves from one phase to the next. It's a human communication breakdown acted to an interactive form. A fascinating experiment that demonstrates how fertile human relationships can be as inspiration for a nightmarish horror scenario. It's free and you can play it in your browser at the link above. No thank you. Given that screenshot, people... Look, yes, I'm going to be posting a link to this list in the video description. You can see some shit for yourselves. Because we can't describe it. And right now we're at the final page. Horror games in development. The future is bright. Wait, no it isn't. It's dark and full of horrible monsters. Kickstarter has been kinda horror games, and the huge online success of games like Slender made the big publishers. If you've explored this horror collection, you'll notice how many draw ideas and influences. You see the same images recurring. Hi, we're on the final page. Just started. The abandoned hospital, the bloody message on a whitewashed wall, the wheelchair on its side, wheels still spinning. We need scary new worlds, scary new ideas. Things are looking good on that, fortunately. Sir, you are being hunted replaces typical horror with wandering tweed-wearing robots. The team takes survival horror to an abandoned moon base, and Sunless Sea takes it into a twisted underground ocean. Read on for a sneak peek at Nightmares of Tomorrow. Routine. Link, routine site. Expect to pay? To be on. I mean, not to be honest, to be announced.
To be honest, to be
Looking at this screenshot, it kind of reminds me of an old PS1 game called Martian Gothic. Basically, think Resident Evil on Mars.
Looks like he's on the moon, though.
He is on the moon.
Okay.
The moon is a fantastic place to set a horror game, as the developer's routine must know only too well. We've barely scratched the surface of its pockmarked exterior, yet we know about the moon than we do the ocean. It has that whole dark side thing going on, and if you run into trouble, for instance, zombies or aliens or zombie aliens, there isn't much hope for dramatic rescue. Routine takes place in an abandoned lunar station. You're there to figure out why and how everyone mysteriously appeared, which may or may not have something to do with battle robots clattering around the place. The idea of amnesia in space isn't enough to get you frothing at the mouth. The game's retro futuristic aesthetic, think 80s sci-fi movies, should do the trick. Now that you're back, I'm going to go use the bathroom. I'll be back in a moment. So, continue on, I'll catch up.
I'm fitting by the bed.
Alright, continue on, I'll catch up.
Link on the site. Expected by TBA. Virtual games have already appeared a couple of times on this mega list, and that's because time and time again they've proven that they know horror. First in the games, and then again in Amnesia, an experience some of us will never forget. Soma is their latest first-person scare 'em ups, and after a few days of video teasers involving freaky pre-cognitive computers, it was soon revealed to look quite a bit like their previous works, until the dark ox-style tentacles make an appearance anyway. The experience creepy experiment of linking computer things and lots of height. If Spell's previous game or any indication. Next is Evil Within. Link Even Within site. Expect to pay TBA to be announced. Feature pretty good. Reasons to be interested in this upcoming survival horror can be boiled down to just two words. Sunji Magami? I don't know if I'm saying that right. The bloke responsible for Resident Evil, the good ones. God Hand and Vanquish, the latter of which have criminally never punched out and rocked the Melissa, though DC, the Evil Within is his grand return to horror. Pre-released videos released that involves moments of hiding from chainsaw wielding chain-wielding psychopaths. Generally a good idea. Shooting and burning off these creatures and laying traps seemingly an apocalyptic horror starring giant Lovecraftian beasties. The Evil Within will apparently be Mikami's final project to directly leave things on a high note. What? Fine. Now, unlike one and the others, I'm not very good with references. If I could think of one, I would say it, but zombie creatures, life traps. I wish I could show the shot. It looks very weird. Try to imagine a butcher instead of pigs hanging their teeth. Looks very weird. And then the flock is even weirder. The flock, link the flock site, expect to be announced. Not yet, expect to be announced. The flock are twisted things, skeletal humanoids in the depths of a dead earth. Now they rise, seeking the solar capsule left by the last humans. Emerging from the shadows in May, teasers for the flock promise an unusual struggle in an asymmetric multiplayer arena. A single player take the field, and each must battle it out to reach and control the capsule for victory. But there's a twist when the capsule translated into the carrier. They prey with a bite of its own. Less agile against the flag that chases it. The carrier can turn the torch like an artifact. If you think of an artifact, I just thought you spelled it wrong. Fact on assailants to vaporize those in motion. Training the beam on stationary attack and force them to stay put will leave you vulnerable. Flock sisters, the indie development team experienced some severe setbacks accumulating into the thief of the game's source code during a house robbery. The isometric open world zombie apocalypse survival sim is back on track, thankfully, and has recently made it into Steam's early access program. You must manage your survival food to stave off the post-apocalypse blood. Keep them well-fed, scavenge weapons, and build your own stronghold in the spawning suburbs. There will eventually be NPCs and destroyed to dip into with the team. Red Keen first nailed down Zomboid survival system to make sure that the game is capable of generating emerge scripted horror stories that you can control. That looks cool.
Where are we? Survivoranium?
Yep.
Alright, Survivoranium. Link Survivoranium site. Expect to pay, blank.
Unknown. Very blank. So it's free. Probably. Or not.
Stalker 2 is never to be, but most of its former developers are keeping the dream alive with Survivoranium. Though a free-to-play arena shooter, oh that's why it's blank, is hardly the form you want a spiritual successor to take. Fortunately, the maps they've shown so far are laden with the dilapidated beauty of Stalker's irradiated wasteland, but Stock eventually went to turn Survivoranium into something much bigger and more emergent with the co-op mode that riffs on DayZ. How is that pronounced? DayZ or Days? Whatever. Whatever.
Yeah, days.
The prospect of a 40-person server set in a Stalker-esque zone built in a modern engine is worth getting excited about, even if it has to start life as a relatively restricted competitive shooter first. Signups are available if you want to get in early.
Next thing drop. Link Kickstarter. Expect to page be announced. Extremely pretty unique build surfing war game failed to reach its Kickstarter funding target this year, but development continues. That's fortunate as raindrops over old forests, bleak, desert concrete wastelands look like a fun place to get lost. You'll spend a lot of time to craft weapons, but developers stress that you don't have to kill people if you don't want to. Armor and vehicle upgrades as you explore environments that have been in production since 2010. When the two-man team started building Raindrop as half of Half-Life 2 total conversion.
That was a mod.
It was supposed to be a mod.
Oh, if you hear something on my end, I'm eating a sandwich.
Oh, okay. Sunless Sea.
Yeah, I'm getting there. Hold on. Sunless Sea. Link, Sunless Sea site. Expect to pay? Nothing yet. Sunless Sea is set in a dark, visually generated underground ocean. You must pilot your customizable ship around its waters, discovering islands, hiring crew, and battling sea monsters. Displaying in massive Sunless Sea's murky, mysterious visuals and strange creatures that populate the world. And the video for the team's successful Kickstarter campaign drops a few hints of the horrors to come when it suggests that you'll lose your mind, eat your crew, and quell a mutiny. It's being built by Fairbetter Games, creators of Fallen London, who list FTL, Don't Starve, and Smith Pirates, whatever FTL is, as influence, which means Sunless Sea will hopefully give us a chance to craft some good horror tales of our own. So this is probably going to be a real-time strategy sort of thing. Because if they're drawing off of pirates, that's a real-time RTS game because that's what Sid Meier is good at.
You are a pirate. You are
Down to Darkwood.
Welcome to the Darkwood. Welcome to the Darkwood. Link Darkwood. I expect to pay a TBA. Darkwood is a top-down level war set in a Darkwood.
No shit.
No, it isn't. After a successful Indiegogo campaign, the three-person team have charged ahead with development of their open-world generation technology. You'll have to craft items from found objects in the various abandoned houses of Rocketwood, which is set in the deepest, darkest depths of Europe in the twilight of the 20th century. Early videos of Darkwood show a rich, sinister atmosphere that's already laden with menace. Death is permanent, too, and to
Okay.
Almost done.
Yeah, we're almost done. That was my dad.
There's one more.
Hellraid. Link, Hellraid. Hellraid is basically a demonic medieval Left 4 Dead. Instead of mindless zombies, you've got the insidious forces of hell. Rather than a selection of submachine guns and shotguns, you've got some pointy sticks. Luckily, there are some tricks to help you and your co-op buddies gain the upper hand, including ranged and magic weapons, an RPG inventory and loot system, and character upgrades. By randomly generating the layout of maps and the locations of enemies, the Game Master system will ensure the war between good and evil can rage eternal.
That's it. All pages.
That's it. I'll get around to uploading this first chance I get.
So have a happy Halloween, all of you.
And as I said, a link will be provided in the video description for you to follow. That said, happy Halloween, and don't eat too much candy.
No,
Okie dokie.